hope everybody's had a good week. I'm kind of running about a day behind. Today's Sunday, so y'all probably see this video tomorrow. And I've had a lot of questions about the clear coat that I use. So in front of you is the 2 bottles of 2-part epoxy of the True Coat. And where do I start? Oh, I'll start by they didn't send this to me, and I'm not paid by them or endorsed by them, and all I do is I buy their product with my own money, and I purchase all my clear coat myself. I buy it all. But anyway, I want to talk about this True Coat because it is absolutely some phenomenal. I don't know. Phenomenal? I can't say it. But anyway, it's some outstanding clear coat. For one, it leaves a good clear shine. This bait's messed up. That broke off because I let some of the True Coat. This True Coat is really absolutely thin. So these baits are. This bait, and I have another bait laying around here somewhere. Yes, this one. These were the first ones that I ever used True Coat on a year ago. And I didn't realize it was, I knew it was thin, but I didn't realize it's thin enough that it would run into those places. And that turns. So what it did is it froze that up, and I tried to break it loose, and when I did, I broke the loop off of that. And then on this one, I mean, he turned out good. One of my shad patterns with the True Coat, but I didn't put this one on my lure turner. I just clear coated him, and then I hung him up, and of course I put rubber bands in the middle in the joints to keep it from getting into the joints. So I wrapped the joints in rubber bands. But when I hung him up to let him dry, my clear coat run into my tail. So his tail is like very hard, very stiff. So anyway, but those are the things that I learned. So now with this True Coat, what I do is whenever I epoxy my baits, I put them on a lure turner, because then that way it'll balance out and it won't run into places that it doesn't need to. So everything gets put on a lure turner now. But anyway, and this is 1-to-1 ratio. It tells you 1-to-1 mix ratio, and I don't do it by weight. What I use is, I didn't bring them out here either. I use 2 small syringes that go up to 5 cc's. So a lot of times if I draw out 3 cc's of part A, then I'll draw out 3 cc's of part B and put them into a little container and mix them up. And this has longer working time than your 30-minute. It says open time 30 minutes, cure time's 12 hours, but your work time with this stuff is longer than 30 minutes. So because I'll take and I will mix it into a clear cup, and I'll mix it, and when you mix it, it gets bubbles in it. So I just let it set. After I get it mixed real good, I just let it set for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And when you do that, all those little bubbles usually will pop. So then when you look into your container, it's just clear epoxy and there's no bubbles in it. So that's when I epoxy my baits. But I've epoxied up to 8 baits before and used the same mix, the same stuff that I mixed, and never did it get hard or try to harden up on me or anything. I mean, you have ample working time with this stuff. So, I mean, it works really good. But I was going to show y'all. I have a 12-year-old son. And probably about 2 months ago, he's in the ornery mode. So, he told me it was this bait right here. I had him in the house. And he's like, Dad, what would happen if we hit him with a hammer? Because, you know, little boys, they love tearing stuff up. So I told him, I don't know what would happen if we hit him with a hammer. So we hit him with a hammer. And as you can see, there's no cracks, no breaks, no nothing on him. So, I mean, and then this one, I've hit this one with a hammer also. And he shows no signs of being hit with a hammer. So I'm going to demonstrate to y'all. I mean, I'm just amazed by it, but I'm just going to demonstrate to y'all with this big monster roofing hammer of what happens if you will hit this hard. And I don't know if I can hit it very hard in here. So, but we can give it a shot and see. So, are you ready? Let's do this. We'll hit both of them. And we'll do it again. We'll try it again. And yes, I'm trying to break these. So, but anyway, so now let's look at them and see what happened. Do we see any damage on this one? Nope. I'll flip him over so y'all can see this. And there's nothing wrong with this bait after we collapsed him with that hammer. And I was hitting them pretty good, hard enough that they were bouncing, so that's pretty hard. And then this one, there's still nothing. No cracks, no breaks. Yeah, so I'm pretty impressed with it. It might have knocked just a little bit off right there, but that could have been just a bubble or something that was on him. But it did not break these baits. I mean, I'm just really impressed with this. We're gonna try it again. Nope. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm pretty impressed by that. But anyway, I took a hammer and demonstrated, so. But I'll also tell y'all too. I won't do that with this DEVCON 2 tug. I don't know if it hold up or not. But anyway, I had a little shad crankbait that I painted, and I was using DEVCON at the time. And I used DEVCON for a solid year, 1 year, and that's all I used. I didn't use anything else. But I fished that bait in rocks and grass, trees, everywhere that you could fish it, and that bait only had a few, it had some scratches on it, but you could still see the pattern on that bait, and it still looked really good. So, but if I had to choose, this True Coat would be my first choice. DEVCON will always be my second choice. I mean, I've had pretty good luck with DEVCON. I mean, I've had problems with DEVCON before, but it's nothing that you can't work through and get through, and DEVCON's pretty good clear coat. So, anyway, but yes, this is my go-to epoxy right here. is the True Coat. But like I said, you just have to be careful with it when you're doing swim baits and glide baits. Because if it ever gets in those joints or gets in any moving parts on these baits, it will freeze them up. But for the most part, I'm looking at this bait again, and I just can't believe it does not crack or break these baits when you hit them with a hammer. So I mean, so y'all can take this for what it's worth. You can go with it, but I mean, that's what I use. I'm not telling you that's what you have to use. I just thought I would show y'all the clear coat that I use and the results that I get from the clear coat on how tough it really is. And I've taken a crankbait that I've done and let it cure with that 24 hours. It says cure time 12 hours, but I went ahead and let it cure for 24 hours. And I took that crankbait out to my driveway, and I took and threw that crankbait as hard as I could at my driveway, and it bounced across my driveway. And when I picked it up, there was nothing wrong with that crankbait. But I was also going to show you just if y'all aren't using DevCon, this is a bait that I have fished for probably about 3 years that I painted that really works. And I told y'all that I paint pink-bellied shads also, but I wasn't gonna do a video on it because it's pretty self-explanatory. You just paint your shad pattern, and then you just put a pink belly on him, so it's pretty easy. But this little dude it'll catch me big sand bass that weigh around 2 pound mark. But it'll also catch me 3, 4, 5 pound largemouth bass on this bait right here. This little swim bait with the bill. You can't hardly find these guys anymore, because a lot of people is griping that the bills break off. And I only had one of these. A lot of these that I painted, I kept for myself. But I've only had one that the bill broke off. But I got into some pretty heavy rocks one day and broke that bill off. But I'm thinking about taking the True Coat and epoxying the bill in this True Coat and seeing if it won't make it stouter, so I don't break this one. Because this is a good little bass catcher right here. But you can see the DevCon's not 100%, and I may not have got him clear coated on the edges very good. But I mean, he has some nicks from being fished for a couple of years. So he has nicks right there, but it's just right there on the edge and right there on the edge of the tail. So, but anyway, this is a great little bait. I wished I could get my hands on these guys again, but I really like them. I like painting these guys too, because they look more like a shad. But you can paint some good yellow perch patterns on these dudes too. So, but anyway, I guess y'all probably tired of me rambling on. But there's my demonstration on the clear coat that I use. I mean, I had a few guys ask what clear coat I used and stuff, and I told them I'd make a video on it. So there's my video on my True Coat. And you know, I'm not dogging DevCon, KBS. I've used KBS, but KBS is just, it has its issues, and it's pretty finicky. I mean, you have to really you have to have the exact right conditions for the KBS to work really good. But if you're not dipping a lot of baits, the KBS, I mean, it'll ruin on you. But if you're dipping a ton of baits, then KBS, you can use KBS and probably not have any issues with it. But I mean, it's a good clear coat. Bob Smith Industries is a good clear coat also. But I mean, I've used almost every clear coat that's out there. I hadn't used Tamco. I've thought about it, but It's just you got to have mask and good ventilation and all that to spray that. So, but anyway, but there's my demonstration on the clear coat that I use, the 2-part epoxy that I use. So there y'all have it. Y'all see what I use, and you can see for yourself how strong it really is. I mean, it's some really strong, and that's the thing. I think that's what makes it so strong. I forgot this part, is that this True Coat actually dries from the inside out. So a lot of times you're not going to get bubbles in your baits or anything after it dries, because since it's drying from the inside out, it is pushing the bubbles to the top, and when they get to the top, they pop. So it's not leaving any indentions, and it just clears really, really good. So anyway, I guess we're gonna call it good for that one, and I hope y'all all have a good week. And this video will go out tomorrow morning, which will be Monday. And I hope y'all have a good week, and y'all come back and y'all tune in for the next video, because the next video I'm gonna paint a largemouth bass pattern for y'all, and we'll do that one, and it'll be a long video because there's a lot of steps to do the largemouth bass pattern, but we're gonna do that one on the next video. So thank y'all for watching, appreciate it. And we're only 19 subscribers away from 100, so we're not very far away from our 100 subscriber giveaway. So y'all keep that in mind, and we'll see y'all on the next video. Thank y'all for watching. Really appreciate it.